The fall of Trump or the fall of America? There is nothing that immigrants brought to the New World other than the adventure of quick profit, the desire for lasting prosperity, and the ability to rotate funds to maintain production management. This is how the phrase, "let him work, let him pass," began to form the capitalist system that quickly achieved the abundance of production that rivaled the Old World in the Old Europe that it needed American forces in 2 world wars and then a Marshall Plan to start a strong dollar in the international economic relations market. All this was reflected during the Cold War on an annual report on U.S. national security concerns. What matters to us is the repeated preservation of the Israeli presence and the preservation of circulation of petrodollar profits from Arab oil money. Each of the two issues drew and still is the American strategy in the Middle East. This introduction had to be to answer the question in the title of this article, especially since many social networking sites and conversation groups celebrate the hustle and bustle of talking about the results of the transformation of White House administration policies with the presence of U.S. President Donald Trump, who has moved from prostitution movies to the U.S. Foreign Policy Department in the same ways obscene filming of those movies. These policies were successful in providing large funds and changing the effects of the setback in the American strategy for the 21st century to a model of success in the deal of the century that provided maximum support from the United States for the exit of Israel from the Arab boycott to a renewed model for managing multinational investment in the region without any final solutions. For the Palestinian cause, which ended in oblivion after the emergence of the 2 pillars of sectarian war between Islamic sectarian extremism. And previously, I published more than one study and article in which I conclude that everything that happened in post-2003 Iraq is an Israeli plan that succeeded in implementing it without losing a single shot through tools, perhaps from those who carried out ignorance and only reactions or who carried out knowledge and prior knowledge. All these successes achieved by the Trump team to satisfy Israel and its expansion project in the broader Middle East, and the role of the Israeli lobby, which made the directors of major multinational companies attend the ceremonial opening of the 9M project in Saudi Arabia, but this method of directing loud prostitution films as it succeeded in providing financial liquidity. However, he failed miserably in dealing with the corona pandemic, and if she employed a method in media propaganda with People's China, his greatest failure appeared in the first television footage broadcast on the method of arresting the murderous black man from a white policeman, so that the collective memory of the American public opinion will return to the days of apartheid. That fire under the ashes of that American tiger, who found himself alone in a world transformed into China, toppled everyone by being overwhelmed by his power. We, the Iraqis, know more than this tyranny during the period of imposing the embargo on Iraq. Yes, it is the curse of dictatorial folly, but it was hired to applaud some of the party leaders for saying Madeleine Albright that the children of Iraq deserve death because the fathers do not revolt against Saddam. Today, Trump faces the wrath of the Negro race, despite all the support and rehabilitation programs that have been offered since the emergence of the Luther King movement and even after the arrival of an American president of similar ethnic origins. Is this a failure for President Trump, or is it the failure of the American dream of luxury and human rights? The answer I have is due to Paul Kennedy, American Preparedness for the 21st Century, in which he advised to amend the American presidential election system, warning of the fall of the White House in the face of the volatile public mood, and its impact on the international site of American hegemony. Therefore, it is important when comparing the demonstrations of the Iraqi liberation arenas with the American ones today, not stopping at the official American position regarding the demonstrations of the liberation arenas but rather a deeper understanding of a historically repeated lesson. Abu al-Qasim al-Shabi said, "If the people once wanted to live, this thing is consistent with the description of our reality in Iraqi liberation arenas." As for the American demonstrations, they remain within the general context that preserves the constitutional institutions that are ancient in the United States of America, and when President Trump steps in, he will show who is doing it, adjusting his political behavior, or presenting him to account before Congress, and this is what we lack in Iraq. The evils of quotas to market a model of known American duplication, and so on. From what appeared